So, let me give a bit of backstory. The night that it happened, I was going through a lot at the time. I was really, really depressed. There were so many things that were happening at the time, and I had been off my medication for a while. And that day, I remember thinking, like, let me just drink and forget, and then tomorrow I'm going back to the psychiatrist, right? And that's what I did. I drank and I drank and I drank. And the next day, I woke up in some guy's bed in in the hostel in school. And I remember just being very confused. I didn't remember anything. I was extremely confused. Saw a guy that I had seen like once or twice. I remember he was at the party that I was at, and I was just like, what's going on here? I just got up. I was confused. I ran to my room and I threw up quite a bit. And I remember telling my roommate, I'm like, yo, I can't find my panties. Like, what's happening? And she said, you woke up in someone's bed. I think you were raped. I remember saying, nah, this is not possible. Because I was even a virgin at the time. So I was like, nah, can't have happened. I went to the school clinic. They were trying to do some counseling stuff. I was hungover, I was confused. And I just I was just very, very confused. I remember that. And then we went to a hospital, women's hospital. And they did what I would say is like the most painful thing I've ever experienced is when they are taking a swab. I remember screaming and just thinking this is literally the worst, this is like my worst fear coming to pass. I remember they filled the report form, they said there was bruising. My friend that I was at the party with was telling me about some guy who had been all over me, and I even told her, I was like, yo, this guy is giving me the creeps, and I don't remember any of this because I was completely gone. And the story I was told at the time was that because my friend wasn't allowed to go in to school with me because she wasn't a resident, but the guy was also a resident, so he offered to get me to my room because I couldn't walk. I was completely wasted, and so apparently he didn't take me to my room, and yeah, and then I remember I told my friend about what was going on at the time, and then she let my aunt know, and then at that point I didn't have a choice but to report it. Looking back, I wish I had that choice. I'm not going to lie, because what happened after was even worse than the experience I had been through. Because I don't actually remember the experience, so it's only the aftermath that I was able to deal with, and it was awful. I remember the police woman that was assigning my case, she just was so disinterested in what I was saying. It's kind of like one of these girls, that's just wayward girls, and something has gone wrong and you have come to the police. What are you doing here? She didn't care. She was just like, ugh. She looks burdened by what I was telling her, and just saying, she seemed to like even laugh at some details in my story, saying that, so you went to go and drink and now you have come to us. I remember the police doctor that I went to that was asking me questions and things. His exact words were, you went to go and drink. Like a woman that drinks, she might as well just throw her pants outside the window. As a police doctor, it was the yes, it was. He said a lot of horrendous things, but that's what stood out. I remember thinking, I was like, this is the person that's supposed to be protecting me, supposed to be helping me, you know. And I remember the lawyer that was assigned my case, because I had to report and everything. I remember he was making advances. So I was just okay. So yeah, the police doctor. Then they went to school. After I followed due process and everything, they went to school and they arrested the guy. And I remember when the team of the policewoman and my lawyer went to school to talk to them, the school's immediate reaction was defensive. I know they provided him with a lawyer, they were defending him, saying such a thing cannot happen on their school grounds. It was bad for their reputation. I remember the week after this whole saga, they had an event to speak up against rape and everything. After they put me through hell, they turned the narrative completely. Said that I was lying. Said that I gave consent, but I was completely drunk. You cannot give consent when you're drunk. And he knew exactly what was going on. I had never once even had a conversation with this guy. And he's going to say that I gave consent when I was wasted. When they came to report him, I remember the story just kind of exploded. Everyone knew about it. I was quite popular in school, so literally everyone knew me. And the situation itself is very painful. And then when everyone now knows, there's so much stigma attached to it. And people just assume things. So many people said, "What are you wearing?" I remember when I called my mother to tell her what happened, because she was going to find out. I didn't want her to know, but she was going to find out because it blew up in media. Everyone knew about it. I told her. She was like, "Were you drinking?" I said, "Yes, son." She said, "Nne, I have warned you so many times." She said, I've warned you about your dressing so many times. She said, he probably looked at you and thought you had no dignity. My mother told me that. And for the first time in my life, I got the phone of my mother. So, yeah, back to the story. Yeah. It broke me. I won't lie. It broke me. Imagine you're seeking comfort at a time and you're blamed. I got a lot of victim blaming. It wasn't just her. It was just the worst one because it hurt the most because she's supposed to be on my side. You get not telling me that it's my fault. But I understand that that's how she doesn't really know how to handle certain situations. She has gone through a lot too, and there are just some things that are difficult for her to handle. Anyway, when when he was arrested and everything, the whole story spread, and of course, so many people jumped to his defense. They were saying that I was so he posted on a group that we were both on while he was arrested, I guess, that, "Oh, you should come and beg her. She's saying that I raped her. I did not do that." Then he kept calling me and saying, "I'm sorry that you think that that's what happened. That's not what happened. This is that. He kept harassing me until I had to block him. And it was just, I felt very out of control of everything. I felt, I don't know. I don't think words can really explain what I went through. And people that I thought were my friends jumped to his defense without even, just hearing his side was enough for them. Mine wasn't. I was just talking. And I know, I just remember being extremely confused the entire time. Wondering, I was like, I've always been vocal against this kind of thing happening, but you never think it's going to happen to you. You're like, okay, I'm going to help from the outside, but then I was now there in the middle of the storm and I didn't know what to do. I was, the media got on top of it and they did all sorts of things, put unflattering pictures of me. Remember this Linda Ikiji? She took a picture of me that had been, there was a time I won a competition, right? And they took a picture, an unflattering photo. I didn't look good in the picture and I was made fun of for being ugly. That storm passed, I came out of that. And at this time of this thing happening, they brought out that picture again and they wrote my story, the story that was out there. And I remember a lot of comments, people were saying, rape is bad, but is it this one that you rape? You did not find finer girls to go and rape. And I remember thinking, wow. Just, wow. The time of the case and everything, I was terribly depressed. I was self-harming. I contemplated suicide God knows how many times. And luckily I had a good support system. My friends were literally everything, and these two of my aunties that saved my life, because they didn't blame me. They didn't say you did something wrong. They said that they would fight for me, no matter what it took. But I got to a point that I couldn't fight. When the case got heated and everything, and he was arraigned and bail was set, there were people, media personalities trying to take pictures of me. I was like, what is this? I thought the system was supposed to protect me. It's supposed to be anti-rape, right? So it should protect me. I'm trying to report, and everybody says speak up. And I spoke up and my life was ruined. I was someone who had a lot of prospects at the time, and this thing just turned it upside down. I remember I had so many things that were coming up, so many opportunities. I don't even know how, everybody just kind of just went silent on me. People just turned against me. The story that now came out, but I couldn't stay there anymore. I couldn't, because it got really, I kept saying, okay, I can fight it. I'm always pro people speaking up, so I'm like, how can I preach something and not practice it? So I said, no, I have to fight this. And I tried, and I remember there was a briefing with lawyers. They were trying to prepare me to speak, and everything. And I remember, I think it was at some restaurant, and I was walking away to either through to get an order or something, and he was speaking. He didn't think I understood the language, and he was like, and translating. He said, I can see why they targeted her, basically. I don't know, he was staring at my body or whatever. I don't know if he was making comments about how I was dressed. I don't think there was anything wrong with what I was wearing though. And I remember him telling me I had to lie, that it wasn't illegal. Like consent under the influence is legal. There's something called like in law. So if I wanted to, my lawyer, yeah, and he told me that if I wanted to win this case, I had to say that he forced me. I told him, I can't do that. I don't remember anything. I can't come and just say one thing and then if they start questioning me, I'm like, I'm not going to lie. And I said, you're going to have to if you want to win, because this is a tricky case. I remember, I don't know what happened, as if he got compromised. He kept calling me and telling me that it looks like this guy, his parents are like some cartel, they have a lot of money, they have a lot of influence, that they're trying to make this thing go away, that if I take it to court, like, this is going to be very difficult, they're going to bring out all the big guns. He just put so many seeds of doubt. This is somebody that was supposed to represent me, and it was a very dark time. And my parents made a great decision to just get me out of there, because I wouldn't have survived it. I wouldn't have. Every minute, every second, I just wanted to die. And even though quite a bit of time has passed since then, and I'm proud of what I've been able to accomplish since then. It doesn't go away. That feeling of despair, basically, it doesn't go away. You know, when I came back, my parents kept telling me, and I was still really depressed. They kept telling me, you should be happy that you survived, that he didn't physically hurt you, that you didn't get pregnant. He said, and I quote, said, we're Catholics in this family. You would have had to keep the baby, so you should be happy you didn't get pregnant. I was like, what? Telling me about how other people had it worse and everything. I'm like, okay, I acknowledge people go through a lot, but at this time, this is too much for me. It's too much for me, and they don't believe in counseling. I started going to therapy, and the therapists were alarmed at my situation, and they kept putting me on medication, which I don't like. I don't like medication. I don't like what it does to me. So, and my parents were just uninterested in the whole process. They didn't want to pay for it. They were like, so I just kind of left it and had to survive, basically, and try and distract myself. But a lot of the time I feel like I'm just suppressing a lot, and one day I'm going to explode. I lost a lot of friends at the time. The story that was believed to be the truth after I left was that I lied against some guy. I slept with some guy. I lied that he raped me, and I got expelled for it. And the school did so much damage control about speaking up, believe survivors, after they pulled their big guns to get themselves out of trouble at my own expense. Me, that I had done a lot for the school. Like I was a representative. I loved that school, and everything turned against me. So, yeah, I think.
That's the summary.
Yeah, that's very short summary.
Wow. Thank you very much for sharing that.
Well, his narrative was that I agreed to, yeah, but I don't remember anything, and I was wasted. He had to carry me from the school gates to the hostel. If you knew my school, you know that's not far. That's not a close distance. It's not close at all.
So you would say it was a thought through.
Yeah. I knew that I could not, like, even if someone is wasted, it's taking some time for me to understand this, right? Because for a long time I was blaming myself. If someone is wasted and they are even propositioning you that you're in your senses, you need to be the one to be like, yo, I can see what state you're in, and you move.
I need you to give me consent.
No, you cannot ask for consent when someone is drunk. It's not.
So your thought now is, at that point,
I could not have given consent.
Whoever it was that was supposed to be of help should know
that I could not have given consent. In many countries now that it's literally illegal, but I don't think it is in Nigeria. Is it? But it's at where it wasn't illegal. But like you cannot, it's like the same way you cannot sign a contract when you're drunk. Why should someone be expected to give consent? It doesn't make sense. It made me feel awful. In a nutshell, I felt like I wanted to die. Like, what's the point of any of this anyway? If, like, I had always believed so strongly in reporting and speaking up, like, it's unfortunate, but I don't anymore. I believe in dealing with it however you deem fit, because it wasn't. I wouldn't wish that experience for anyone. I believe in improving processes. It needs to get better. If not, these people keep getting away with this. Like, I've blocked this guy everywhere, but I know I see some things. I see his life just continued. He just moved on as if nothing happened, and mine had to come to a complete halt for months. I couldn't go back to school. I had to go to a different school. So just for justice to actually be achieved, the process needs to get better. It needs to become easier for people to tell their stories. It just has to. 18. I had just turned 18, I think. No, well, no, but I was 18 at the time. I think I would have been very depressed. I would have been very sad for a while. But I wish I don't know. It was too violent for me. It was too violent. If I could have at least skipped that whole public part, because even when I came home, because it was on all that media, people knew. For a while, I felt like everybody knew me. Like, if I walked down the street, they had seen it online, because, like I said, Linda is very popular here, and that was like a very well, like a really popular story. But like everyone knew, like I did not deserve that. No matter the situation, that public, no survivor deserves that. And I wish more than anything I could have avoided that, but it happened. So the only thing I can say is just let's make it better for the people who do want to report. But I wish I didn't. Yeah, I remember my brother tried to reach out to them to take down the stories, take down my face at least, because they put my full name, they put they put so much personal information there, like people I hadn't spoken to in years, like were coming to reach me on Facebook because like my full name, and I was like, this is my brother tried and tried so many all ways to reach out to her, to call, to put down the stories, reach out to all the media. No, nobody cared. It didn't matter to them.